In this video, we'll be showing you how to set up the Detcon X40 and Detcon CXT wireless unit onto a single wireless network. Please note that we will not be covering the individual settings of each unit, such as alarms. With the X40 controller in front of you, open the unit up. In the top corner, there will be a radio transceiver that has a pair of dials and a lone dial. To start, we will be establishing what radio frequency channel the unit will be communicating on. Using a terminating screwdriver, turn the lone dial to the appropriate channel number. As a default, we recommend turning it to channel F, as this has the least interference with other wireless communication signals. However, you will need to confirm with your site operator what channel is available on your site. Next, we will modify the unit's address on the network by turning the pair of dials. Starting with the dial on the left, ensure that it has 0 selected. Then confirm that the right dial has F selected. By having this unit addressed in this way, we have made the X40 into the master controller. Now that the radio frequency and controller address has been confirmed, we will now have to address the wireless sensors. With your CXT in operational mode, hold the Detcon magnet over PGM2 for 5 seconds. The display will now read View Sensor Status. Hold the magnet over PGM1 until you see an arrow pointing left. Immediately remove the magnet and the display will read Set Modbus ID. Hold the magnet over PGM1 for 5 seconds. The display will instruct you to set the ID. Using the magnet, flick between PGM1 and 2 as much as you need until you get the appropriate number. The operator or site supervisor may have instructions on which sensor is to have which address. Once the ID has been selected, hold the magnet over PGM2. The display will then read ID saved. Now flick the magnet over PGM1. The display will now read Set RF Channel. Hold the magnet over PGM1 for 5 seconds. The display will state to set the RF channel. Make sure that this is the one set in the radio transceiver in the X40 controller. Once the RF channel has been selected, hold the magnet over PGM2 and the display will read Channel Saved. Repeat this process for all CXT units. We are now ready to configure the X40 controller. With the X40 controller closed, power the unit up. Ensure that the CXT units that you have addressed are also powered up and running. After the X40 does its initial startup, it will be in operational mode. Using the Detcon programming magnet, swipe the icon above the display labeled Prog. The display will now show the main menu. The first option will read Auto Configure. To access this menu, swipe Enter. The display will now read the current sensors, AO modules, wireless transceivers, and alarm stations set in the configuration. To start a new configuration process, simply swipe Enter. The display will now read the sensor that it is trying to find in the mesh network. If it finds the unit, it will go on to the next numbered sensor immediately. If the sensor is not found, the X40 will give it 4 sets of 3 attempts to establish communication. If it fails to do so after the 4th set, it will proceed to the next numbered sensor immediately. The X40 will continue to look for all 256 possible sensors, giving each sensor the same amount of sets and attempts to establish communication. So once the X40 has found all sensors that are actually in the field, swipe Enter to get to the alarm station configuration. Continue this process with the alarm stations, AO modules, and wireless transceivers. Once the final transceiver has been found, swipe Enter one last time. The display will read all sensors, AO modules, alarm stations, and wireless transceivers that were picked up in the auto configuration. Now swipe Prog twice. The X40 will save the configuration and go back to the operational display. The display will show all sensors and alarm stations that had been configured. This completes our tutorial on setting up the Detcon X40 and CXT units. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact us directly using the email provided in the description below. And if you found this tutorial useful, please like and subscribe to our channel to receive updates on more Protek product tutorials.